I'm going to put this white index card back here so you get a good view of exactly what we're looking at, so you can see perfectly well where the rim is and where the calipers are. And you can see that I have brought these calipers in so that this part of the caliper is under the rim and this part of the caliper is on the side of the rim. So by doing that, I can see that if the rim is moving up and down and is left and right, I can get that view simultaneously. Now, let me just mention one thing about truing stands. Truing stands exaggerate everything. So what looks like a big flaw in your wheel on a truing stand usually isn't. A 1/2 millimeter looks huge, but sometimes those deviations that you see and worry about on a wheel that you're building, when you see them on a truing stand, you take the wheel out and they are totally unnoticeable. Nevertheless, let's give this a spin and see what we see. We see that the wheel is moving left and right a little bit, and to a very small and I would say insignificant extent up and down. But we want to improve on it, if for no other reason to get the experience. And different people have different techniques. What I like to use is just one caliper at a time. So what I start by doing is giving the wheel a spin and looking to see which way the wheel seems to pop out the most. And it just seems to me that right now it's popping out a little bit more to the left. So what I'm going to do is just disable this caliper so it's out of my way, and just work on this side of the wheel for a couple of minutes. So I'm going to bring this caliper in until I get some type of a rub. There it is right there. Now what I want to try to do is isolate that rub as well as I can. I want the caliper to just kiss the rim. Just barely hit it. Seems to be right about in here is where that is happening, and I'm going to move the camera in a second, but I'll put on the side of the rim a couple little marks which indicate about where that rubbing is taking place. Alright, here are the little marks that I put on the side of the rim where it's rubbing right here on this caliper. Now, the rim is not moving up and down at that point, it's just moving left and right a little bit. So what I want to do is move the rim slightly toward the right. And there are 3 ways I could do that. One would be just to tighten this spoke, because this spoke here goes to the drive side flange. That will pull the rim in that direction. However, it will also pull the rim up just a hair. If I loosen this spoke, it'll allow the rim to move in this direction, but also down a hair. Now, I don't want to introduce a radial error where I don't have one now. So I'm going to do both of those. I'm going to loosen this spoke a 1/4 of a turn, and I'm going to tighten this spoke a 1/4 of a turn. And by doing that, I should move the rim in that direction, but keep it round at the same time. And there we go. Now, have I made the wheel perfectly true? No, but I eliminated the problem that I just had. So what I'm going to do is continue to move the calipers in, look for the rub, deal with the rub wherever it is, and then gradually, by that iterative process, the wheel will get more and more true. A minute later, I have a rub right here between these 2 spokes. And in exactly the same idea, I'm going to loosen this one a 1/4 of a turn because I want the rim to move to the left. And I'm going to tighten this one a 1/4 of a turn because I want to pull the rim to the left. But those loosening and tightening 1/4 turns will cancel each other out in terms of any up and down movement. So my wheel will stay round. And once again, spin my wheel. It's not true, but it's better than it was. Okay, let's give our wheel a spin and see what it looks like. Pretty good. This wheel came together quite easily. Sometimes they don't. Some rims and hub combinations can be very troublesome. If you have different lengths of spokes, it's a disaster. If your rim is in poor condition, particularly if it's bent or something like that, then it's not going to work nearly as well as this. But even if the wheel that you're building has more side-to-side wobble than this one did, if you just in an iterative way bring it in a little bit at a time, you will eventually get it so that it is laterally and radially true.
You can try this trick of disabling one caliper and then the other and going back and forth. See if you like that. I find that it helps me concentrate on just one side of the wheel at a time, but you don't have to do that. Now later on I will refer to this video, Master Wheel Building 2, which has over 3.5 hours of very detailed content, as a reference source you can go to for a lot more detail on many topics. And these are all of the chapters that are covered in that second video, but one of them I'm going to pull out right now. This one here, chapter 23 on truing the wheel, because it has very extensive graphics that go into how to true the wheel, particularly in situations where we have lateral and vertical errors at the same time. And so I pulled that out, and that will be put at the end of this video in Appendix A.